Hear the World Peace Prayer. We will be doing it tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, at 10, I think. So this is my 72 Hours for Peace, which is a URI initiative and a World Peace Prayer Society initiative around the world. The Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the new millennium, the holy days of the Abrahamic religions, will be called for nonviolence between nations, in the streets, in the homes, nonviolence for 3 days on Earth. And so it's also my Goddess 2000 project, and the mural was actually 8 foot by 9 foot on 3 by 8 mahogany panels that we like to carry it around to ritual. And the objective is to bring images of the female divine back into the world. So there are a tremendous number of wonderful projects going on all over the world. You can go to goddess2000.org. There's lots of information there. And 72 Hours for Peace, you can find out more about at united-religions.org or at one of the URI booths here at Parliament. Thank you.
Well, I would like to begin this presentation just getting a show of hands of how many people here have heard of Brighid either as a saint or as a Celtic goddess. I can get a show of. Oh, good. Well, hopefully I will share with you some things that may be new for you, as well as there'll be a time for interaction at the end, where perhaps some of you will be willing to share some of your own experiences working with her. My name is Selena Fox. I am from the United States. I am a Wiccan priestess and the senior minister at Circle Sanctuary, which is an international Wiccan church that is headquartered on a 200-acre nature preserve in southwestern Wisconsin, which is in the north central part of the United States. My own background is multicultural as well as multi-religious. I'm descended from Roman Catholics that came and settled America for religious freedom, as well as Puritans and Quakers. I'm also descended from the Slavi tribe, or the Cherokee, who are the indigenous people, woodland peoples from the eastern part of the United States. And I want to begin by saying I honor all of my ancestors, from Native America as well as from old Europe. And in particular today, I want to honor my ancestors that connect me with Brighid. In particular, my great-great-grandmother, Elizabeth Ann Weems, who is descended from the House of Weems that has lived on the shores of the Firth of Forth in Fife, Scotland for more than 1,000 years, and whose lineage goes back to Clan MacDuff, an ancient clan of the Scots people that in turn is descended from a line that brought together the ancient Irish royal lines and the Pictish royal lines together in the House of Dunkeld. I'm descended from the last hereditary abbot of Dunkeld. And what my ancestors did was keep the sacred site of Brighid at Abernethy in Fife, Scotland. And yes, before that, some of those ancestors and ancestors of ancestors were from old Ireland. And so I wish to honor my Irish roots as well today. Before I realized my descent from people who were keepers of a sacred site of Brighid, both as Saint Brighid during Christian times, as well as Brighid during pagan times, I had already connected with her as an aspect of the divine. I had connected with her as Saint Bridget through my connections with the Roman Catholic world, and I had connected with her as Brighid through my connections with the pagan world. When I use the word pagan, I use it to mean the nature wisdom traditions that are rooted in ancient Europe. There are some dictionary definitions that have some other meanings of pagan, like we aren't religious, has no morals, I'm not using it in that way. I'm using it from the old Latin, agani, dweller in the country. And I'm using it how it's being used today with greater frequency in academia, basically meaning a practitioner of nature religion. And in particular, I'm talking about contemporary nature religion that draws on the ancient roots and weaves them together for our contemporary times. I would like to invite those of you who wish to do so to be in a prayerful mode according to your own spiritual tradition or philosophy. Or if that doesn't feel right, then you can watch me. And I have an excerpt from a traditional invocation of Brighid. It comes from a collection of ancient Scottish invocations, chants, and poetry that were collected in the last century from the folk in the Highlands and the west parts of Scotland. This is from the chapter known as the Supplication of the Saints, and this is known as the Praises of Brighid. Brighid of the mantles, Brighid of the peaky, Brighid of the twining hair, Brighid of the augury, Brighid of the white feet, Brighid of calmness, Brighid of the white palms, Brighid of the kind, Brighid woman comrade, Brighid of the peaky, Brighid woman helper, Brighid woman mild, Brighid of the mantles, Brighid of the peaky, Brighid of the twining hair, Brighid of the augury. Great Brighid, you are known by many names. Great Brighid, we greet you, we honor you, we welcome you here. We welcome you as Christian saint. We welcome you as pagan goddess. We welcome you as multicultural dimension of the divine feminine. Brighid, be with us. Brighid, be in us. Brighid, bless us. Brighid. Who is Brighid? You go into the Celtic text, you're going to find a variety of tales as well as theories. Certainly, part of what has come down to us about her is her name. Her name, Brighid, or Bridget, or Bride. In fact, the word bride in the English language has its roots in her name. So every time you see a wedding and you hear, here comes the bride, 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 Brighid. It's one of her manifestations. She is known not only as a single goddess in those pre-Christian times through the Struzza, but also as a triple goddess, sometimes seen as three separate goddesses, all with the same name, sometimes seen as a unified goddess with three aspects. The goddess of inspiration, she who guides poets and seers, she who inspires prophecy, augury. Brighid, the healer, she who brings wellness, protection, fertility, she who blesses women who are pregnant, women who are giving birth, she who blesses crops and fields and livestock. Brighid of the smith's art, of the forge of blacksmiths, of making ale, of weaving, of dyeing wool. She who guides craftspeople in their work. So she of the crafts, she of healing, and she of inspiration. For me, I see them as all part of one Brighid. Her name, many say, comes from a title rather than a forename. A title that is a title of power and authority. And her name has been translated by many to mean exalted one. Some say that she is the same facet of the divine known as Brigantia, the goddess of the Briganti tribe of North Britain. And indeed, if you look back into pre-Christian history, you will find many people throughout Europe honoring Brighid by many different names. Brigid from Wales, Bride, Brigadou, Bride, Bridget. By whatever name, you will find several symbols associated with her. The sacred flame, fire, illumination, and she is very linked with that illumination, that spiritual flame, not only in pagan times, in Christian times, and in contemporary times where we have both pagans and Christians honoring her. Also, you'll have her associated with a variety of different creatures. Within my own Weems line, her symbol of the swan continues to be on the family crest that has come down through the lines and is emblazoned on the castle in Fife, Scotland, where my distant cousin Michael is living there with his family. The swan, and there's numerous legends about Brighid turning into swan. In fact, if you hear of the Swan Maiden, think of its roots in Brighid lore. Cows, in particular, white cow with red ears. Linked with the other world in Celtic mythology, the other world, the spirit world, that goes beyond of the here and now and the physical world. She also has associated with her crosses, equal arm crosses, Brighid crosses, often made of rush, rushes and put above doorways to bless the homes, put in churches, put in stables, and threefold crosses, three-spoke crosses or wheels, Brighid wheels. Maybe I can even draw. There we go. So we have, and these would be woven together out of rushes, sometimes out of corn or grain. And then we also have back, and sometimes it takes the form of 3 spirals all woven together like this. So those signs have been associated not only with Brighid, but with the saint Bridget.